Hey guys, so I wanted to give you another update. We've got some awesome news to share. So we're making some great progress on the dash. Tim is, you can see all of the benches behind me and various pieces of wood and boxwork and so on all being glued up at the moment. But one of the things I wanted to share is to do with our fuel tanks. So a vital part of running Brewpeg is running on veg oil. And in order to do that, we have to make sure our fuel tanks, none of the mild steel contacts the oil because it ruins the oil and can't be used as fuel. So we have to actually blast and paint our fuel tanks. We didn't know this until about a month ago, and we've made some inquiries. We're going to use the local sandblaster here to blast out our tanks, but we've just received sponsorship from a paint company that's going to supply all of the paint to paint the tanks. So that's a fantastic thing for us. It saves us about $2.5 grand. So I want to show you what we're going to do. So the tanks in question are on the front of Brewpeg. So if you come down the bottom here, you can see this big square that we've marked out on the hull. We're going to cut that out of the hull, and that opens up basically the front fuel tanks. So there's got a fuel tank on either side of the centerline. This is the one obviously on the starboard side, the right hand side. So we're going to chop into that that marked area, and that'll give us full access to the tank so that we can start blasting and painting. So we blasted and painted our water tanks about a year ago now, so we've been through this process before. It's a pretty fast process. The blasting only takes about 4 hours, and you're left with a really rough steel finish, which is brilliant because it gives the paint something to hold on to. The painting itself is a bit slower, so when we did the water tanks we got the paint sprayed on. This time around we're going to roll the paint because it's quite a different paint that we're using, and we've also been given quite a bit of technical advice about how to put it on to get the best results from the paint manufacturer. So yeah, we're pretty excited about all of this, and I'll show you some of the other work that we're doing on the inside of the boat as well. Quick tour inside Brewpeg. So we are also doing roof insulation. See, in the wheelhouse here you can see we've got most of the roof insulated out. So these are basically polystyrene blocks, and I'll show you some details on these. So they're not glued, they're held up, so that's fully pressed up. That's what they're like, quite nice and tight into the roof. And there's another layer of polystyrene that goes over top of this to seal out any air gaps and so on. So we're going to have plenty of insulation in this room. And the dashboard is finally being laid in. So this has all been wood preserved and screwed down, and we are going to fair and smooth this off. Then we will 2-pack it, so it'll be a beautiful hard but very smooth surface when we're finished. We've also we've started doing the studs and the insulation. So behind this wall is the shower, and this is essentially right beside the navigation seat. So these beams are 60mm thick, and we're going to be packing these up with the same type of polystyrene insulation that we've used throughout the rest of the boat. So all of the walls are going to have a variation of this theme. So studs, whether it's steel or wood. Most of the stud work in this boat, if I show you this stud here is 50mm thick, so we're going to add another 10mm of wood on top of that, and then yeah, put all our insulation up to that. So so that we can break that thermal bridge, we're going to be either using wood or polystyrene. So if you have a look up here on the roof up there is a rib, I suppose you could call it, and we've recessed into the polystyrene and then slid the polystyrene over. So that's already got 10mm over top of that rib, and we're going to add another layer below that. So we'll be breaking all of the thermal bridges in this area. So these boxes are the modular dashboard boxes that we're building. There's one, Tim's just arrived with one now. So the way that it works is that sort of framework and everything creates the shape, and then the plywood on top, there'll be a lid, and then there'll essentially be a skin that goes down one of the sides as well. So it'll all look like solid dash, but it'll have a modular box underneath. Tim's also built a whole bunch of these mullions, mullion shrouds. You see them all stacked up there. They're basically a wood cover that goes over top of the steel framework around the windows in the wheelhouse. And then these are all of our bits of insulation. We also found some plywood that had a really beautiful finish, so we're going to be using that for the lids and so on the dash. So thanks for watching. I'll chuck in a few clips of some of the stuff that's happened over the last week. We've got quite a bit that's happened. So yeah, stay tuned for another episode coming out shortly. Thanks for watching, guys.